20 pounds, so, we're mostly cartilage, so we bounce. But even still, there can be little traumas, little things. My personal trauma was I fell down the stairs in a walker when I was like 18 months old. And, I did that probably 3 or 4 times until, my brothers and sisters realized, oh, we should probably shut the door to the staircase, when Julia's in her walker. But anyways, and you know what's sick?
Supergirl.
I'm going to tell you another sick story real quick. Remind me about the walker thing. No, I I love that commercial, open pit commercial. Open pit, got to get me some open pit. Like that was the song of the day in the 70s for the open pit commercials.
What was open pit?
It was barbecue sauce. They still have it. Open pit barbecue sauce.
All right.
So I loved that song apparently as a child, as a baby, and I would sing it. And they said that they would always hear me singing it like open pit, as I fall down the stairs. So to this day, when we get together, they will start singing that song to me. Now, that's the reverse of having anger when you hear something, right? Because when they hear that, that makes them happy. They laugh and laugh and laugh.
Oh, that's funny.
And I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should be sad or happy, but it does make me laugh a little. Because I'm like, really, you guys? I'm 47 years old. Seriously, song. My theme song. Yeah. But anyway, so we're in a state of ease at first. And then we fall down the stairs singing open pit in our walker at 18 months of age. And now all of a sudden, we might start to have some dysfunction, because things are thrown off. The structure is not as have as much integrity as it once had. And, things are stretched and bruised and misalignments occur. And so then we start to get dysfunctional. And we might have slight dysfunctions where we're just not living to our optimal health anymore. And those things get left go because we don't know that. We just go on. Right. We don't have symptoms. We just go on. We're like, a couple weeks later, she's fine. Look at her. She can still walk down her walker and whatever. She's fine. And so things go on. And then we get older. And then if things aren't taken care of at the dysfunction stage, then they turn into a state of dis-ease. And I didn't say disease, I said dis-ease, because when we're in a state of dis-ease, then our body is not working properly and we're starting to have symptoms. We're starting to show signs that there is dysfunction. So when it comes to the point where we have symptoms, we are in a state of dis-ease. And if that is left go and nobody puts you back into place and nobody, resets your organ systems and maintains your structural integrity and puts you back into alignment and all of those things so things can work optimally, eventually there is a breakdown of matter that occurs. And that's degeneration, and that's arthritis, and that's when the organs start to function less optimally. And so then eventually with the breakdown of matter and the killing off of cells and those not having integrity anymore, you can turn into a state of disease. So here we are. Again, we're born into ease. We end up with dysfunction. If left go, it turns into the state of dis-ease. And then if that is left go, eventually there's breakdown of matter and then we're diseased. And that's when we have to go in and get insulin or get, nitroglycerin or whatever the problem may be. That's when the medical realm, the allopathic model, should come into play because yes, they're there for those problems. Mm-hmm. When you're diseased, I am not going to be able to change that state of matter. Once it's destroyed, it's destroyed. That doesn't mean you can't heal to the point where you can function again. Sometimes other parts take over. I remember a story when I was young of a girl that was born with half her brain and they thought she'll never function. Well, she was fine because her left side of her brain just took over and did everything the right side was supposed to because it was able to compensate. Right. And those compensations can occur and we can heal to a certain extent. But I tell people all the time, if your pancreas is absolutely not functioning, I'm probably not going to get it functioning again. I might. If I do, I'll have my own reality TV show, I think. But, at this point in time, I think if we have degeneration of matter and it's diseased, it's in a state of disease, I'm probably not going to get it functioning again. My time when I shine is during dysfunction or dis-ease. If I can get you at the point of dysfunction, I can correct for that.
That was clever. So how do we know to come to you at that point?
I mean, if you're having dysfunction, you probably aren't having symptoms, but most people are having dysfunction to a certain extent. So it's just like getting your teeth checked. People go and get their teeth checked every 3 to 6 months. Why not get the rest of your body? What's wrong with the rest of the bones? Right? We need to make sure our bones are doing well and our nervous system and our organs and all of those things. So, I mean, every 3 to 6 months, I would get a chiropractic checkup, whether I felt like I needed it or not, just to make sure I'm good. Then, you know, when you get to a state of dis-ease and you're having symptoms, that's when I usually see people. They're having symptoms. They don't know what's wrong, but they come to me.
Something's not right, though.
Right. And we get things functioning more properly, and then they're able to go back to a state of function again, or a state of ease even. I've even gotten people who are on the verge of disease. You know, they're like, oh, I'm borderline this or I'm borderline that. No, we can get you back. But once it's past that stage, when it's gone to the disease state, that's when the medical world comes in. That's when the allopathic model and their Western medicine and, you know, we can give you this to prolong your life. They're not telling you we can give you this to make you better, make you well. Right. No, we are giving you this because your body needs insulin. And if you don't produce it, you're going to die. So you need insulin. So those things are more for the traditional medicine. But even some of my natural healthcare practitioners, even like Ayurvedic and other styles of healing, they will tell you, no, there are ways to get that back. Mm-hmm. And I just don't know about them. So I'm going to quantify my statements as there are other practitioners who may feel like they can do that. And I don't know. I'm not going to judge that. I have no idea. I just know in my practice what my abilities are and where I'm at. And where I'm at is I shine like a star in dysfunction and dis-ease. Who says things like that?
My friend Julia. So what you're telling, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding. So what you're saying is that we shouldn't wait until we hurt. We shouldn't wait until we know that something is wrong to come see you.
Exactly. Procrastination. That's going to put you in a worse situation. You know,
that's a good rhyme. A procrastination worse situation.
You're so cute.
I need more information. So, and that's not when people
I tried to come up with something. I can't even come up with anything.
You're at the station.
I am. I'm at the radio station. You're so funny.
So that's a good thing. We go, we have our teeth cleaned twice a year?
Usually. I mean, they say every 3 to 6 months.
So quarterly to semi-annually.
Yeah.
So that's when we should come see you at the same time.
I mean, I feel that way. I don't know about everybody else, but I think the rest of my body warrants just as much attention as my teeth. Just because my teeth are showing doesn't mean the other bones aren't just as important.
That's true. That's a good point.
You know?
Yeah.
So
what made you want to be a chiropractor?
You want to talk for another hour?
No, but I do want to talk for 6 more minutes.
Okay.
7 to 8 to 10 if it goes over. Yes.
You're so funny. I love people and I want to help people. But when I was a child, I think I was really set up for this because I had a lot of mechanisms, what they'd call today kind of OCD tendencies. For example, I would count my bruises every night before I went to bed because I thought they were little badges of honor. And I was quite a tom girl. And we lived out in the woods on 2 acres of woods. So I was the baby of the family. All my brothers and sisters were in their teens by the time I was grown up enough to want to be around, you know, hang out with them, but of course they didn't want to hang out with
Well,
me.
yeah.
So I was basically kind of an only child, although my youngest siblings were around, and I appreciated them, and we're close today. But when I was young, I was the baby sister.
Right.
So they didn't want me around. So I just played in the woods all day, and I played with the neighbor kids, and most of them were boys. And, we'd go down to the creek, and we'd hop on rocks and climb through the tunnel under the road and make up games and things like that. So I was always in competition with the neighbors for the bruises and scrapes. So I was like, yeah, I got him. I got more than he does. So I would always count those. And then I had this weird thing that I used to do when I was a kid that I had insomnia quite a bit of the time. I don't even know why, but I didn't sleep a lot. And so I would lay there in bed, and, my mom had eagle ears. Is that even a thing? I don't even know if that's the right thing to say. But she could hear everything. And like if I was whispering to myself or I was singing or anything like that, she would know it. And she'd
Julia,
be like,
that's enough in there.
Go to bed. So I had to invent silent games. So one of the things that I used to do was I would I know, huh? I would poke at myself in different spots, and then I'd see where I felt that. Where was that at? Where'd that go? So, like, if I poke myself, if I poke myself on the arm, sometimes I'd feel it every time. I would feel it in a different place,
right? And
I would start to wonder about that. I'm thinking, well, what is that? I don't know what that is. That's so cool. So I would poke myself to like pinch myself sometimes just to see where else I would feel that on my body.
That is funny stuff.
It is. I know. I'm so strange. But what I do today is I'm able to actually trace things. Like if somebody tells me that they hurt in a certain place, I can poke that spot and I will feel where that goes. And then I'll know where to adjust. And then I can like touch another spot and I know where that goes. And I can feel that in my own body because I practiced.
Right.
I practiced all the time. Another funny thing that I used to do is I'm just OCD about straight, like right angles. So I feel like God really made me a chiropractor from the get-go. I do. I feel like I was destined to be a chiropractor because I am just a fanatic about right angles. Things need to be straight. If I go into, say, what's a place that has stuff on the walls? Applebee's or Chili's, and they've got all this random crap like slapped up on the wall. Yeah. I get really aggravated. Like it bothers me. I'm like, that is crooked over there. That is so asymmetrical, but now in my practice, it's really good because I can eyeball and tell you immediately. And I do that too, just all the time. It drives my husband crazy. We'll be watching television. I'll be like, that girl's left cheek is wider than her right. Why do they keep doing close-ups on her? And he's like, oh my gosh, would you just turn that off? And I'm like, I can't help it. It needs an adjustment. So, but I always think about that. And I always think to myself, eyeball it first. And if things don't look right, if they look asymmetrical, it bothers me and I have to fix it. So a lot of times I feel like I'm sculpting the body back into symmetry.
Right.
When I adjust people, I try to sculpt them back into symmetry. I tell them all the time, the body craves symmetry. It really does. Once I put things symmetrical, people feel so good.
And it does really make a big difference.
It does.
Energy flow and everything. It's amazing.
And yes, nobody is perfectly symmetrical. We all have one side bigger than the other. You girls know what I mean. But I'm just saying.
I have one eyebrow that's hairier than the other.
Yeah, we're a little asymmetrical, but the most symmetrical we can get structurally, the best performance we have, which is really interesting to me. But when I first took over for practice, I worked for, right out of school, I worked for a husband and wife team, and I was an associate. And then they ended up leaving like 8 months later, and I bought the practice from them. So every morning I would walk in, and I inherited all the employees from the old practitioners. I had, I think, 3 or 4 that stuck with me through the transition. And every day I would walk in and I would look over at the wall. I would just walk in and then it'd catch my eye, my degree on the wall tilted just ever so slightly. and the walls were kind of wonky. So in my mind, I'm like, there's something wonky with that wall. So I would walk over there, and it's like 20 steps, and I would walk over there, straighten my degree, come back, and go to work. And that must have happened every day for 6 months